Okay, so this should be Luna's first act one. Uh, act one. Okay, so first, usually I would like to indent the beginning of the passage because most of the time, when you're writing a new paragraph of sorts, an indent is preferable. Uh, we in a NASA space station, Lena sat in her office reading some files. Okay, so first, I to make this a bit better, I usually like to add, for example, an office here. Which office are you talking about? Like, is it her office or is it like someone else's office? So, clarification, uh, on office is necessary, and there should also be, and there should also be a there should also be a comma here. Reading some files, usually you would, yeah, Jenny, do you have some problem? Do you have any questions?
Start listening again because I forgot to submit my homework.
Okay, where is it? Oh, here. Okay, can you check the chat? Anyways, I'll continue reading some files. This is fine, but usually I would like to add, this is fine, but I would recommend reading through. It's just like more natural compared to reading some, but it's not very necessary. But it's not necessary compared to some things. Okay. Sec, she looked at the piece of rock in the glass case. A piece of rock in the glass case on her desk. Okay, so this is fine in its of its own, but it's a matter of style, so I'm just commenting here. But usually instead of this, I would usually uh rephrase it because it's looking a little bit choppy as a glass case containing a chunk of rock. Maybe it could be like space rock, for example. Uh, Lena remembered the meteoroid that had crashed into the forest, setting it alight. Okay, wait, is it alight a word? Okay, so And means to alight, and the grammar is used to say something that has caught fire. It is an adjective for burning. Some places of using it is uh set something alight. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty much okay. Fortunately, her family had escaped with a few birds. Hey, for me, I would like to add some sort of like drama here because the narrative is not it's kind of lacking the dramaticness of if a meteoroid had crashed into somewhere that's near your home. So maybe it says that maybe like for example, they narrowly escaped something. With with only a few burns, except for his sister, who was severely injured. Later, the government gave them $10 million. Okay, so this here, I would usually phrase it as like $100 million, sorry, 100 million instead of the numbers, because solely because of the reason that it is easier to read and would make for a more like natural flow a compared to the numbers here. In return for okay, I think here you mean in exchange, because if the government gave them $100 million for the meteorite, it must be in exchange for the meteorite. It's like a trade, right? So here I would uh think the word should be exchange. So far there's not that much, just a few like flow issues and some style points, but otherwise it's looking pretty great here. Uh, okay, so here I would, I think I would say that to add like more drama, to add a more dramatic effect with like the exchange that they had, I would make it into that. Later, the government gave them 100 million in turn for in exchange for the meteorite, though each member was to allowed to keep a peace. Suddenly, Lena was interrupted by a loud knocking on the door. Okay, this is fine. She got up to answer it. Outside. Okay, so there's two ways you can go about this. One is you make this part a complete sentence, or two is you can say, oh, she got up to answer it, finding finding her best friend Luna on the other side of the door. It's a bit unconventional if you put it this way. For the minimal way, I would recommend to break this into a new sentence. Okay, right. So I seem to see that you guys have had a lot of like influence with the I seem to see that you guys have had a lot of influence with like the Vietnamese way of writing dialogue, which is fine to be honest, but I'll introduce you with another way to write dialogue. So, I'll do it down here. So instead of like having this n dash, you could just add here, like I'll take this part here. And if you use the more modern, if you use the more modern way of trying to do dialogue, then this is what you usually get. Uh, sorry about that. You would say you would have quotation marks and maybe a action that, for example, Lena asked, and this is preferable, but an action that goes with them saying it, like raising an eyebrow. Then you could say this take this into a new sentence as well. And yeah, this is basically how you do the more, well, modern way. This is how you do the, most of the time, this is how you do a more English way of trying to write dialogue. You would see this in a lot of more like, uh, in a lot of the more common novels. Like, for example, I have this here. And it's always if you have like an English novel, it will always be written in this kind of way instead of like this. You guys can use this is fine, but I'm just like making you guys aware of another way to write dialogue instead of just and dashes. So I'll just keep this as an example.
Could you send the Padlet link in the chat?
Yeah, just check it in the chat. I think it's there.
Can you say it again?
All right. There we go. Uh, let's see. This, I usually would suggest this to be an entire new sentence. But you can use a comma as well. It's not as common, but I would recommend using a comma, making a new sentence instead. Okay. Okay, so this part is real. I think this part is good real estate for dialogue because you can say Luna looked at her friend. Wait, sorry. Luna looked at her friend. Uh, Luna looked at her friend, worried, seeing that Lena seemed to be under a lot of stress. This going is also like not necessary for when you already have the expression of under a lot of stress. But all in all, I think this is fine. You could turn this into a new dialogue, but for example, you could say, "You seem to be under a lot of stress. Is the trip to Mars really, is the trip to Mars really the best thing for you?" Things like that. But otherwise, I see it's pretty good. Now, not too many problems. Some like forms of writing that could be changed for a bit, but otherwise, yeah, it's fine. Okay, I'll send this to you so that you'll. And by the way, sorry everyone for like the background noise. The lower the lower floors are doing like construction work, and I can't really do anything about it. Okay. See, the next one is Lena. Okay, Lena. All right. Okay, all right. Okay, first, of course, an indent because usually this is called for. But if you don't do an indent, don't want the style of an indent. I highly assure you, I would highly recommend you to break everything apart into small paragraphs. Like, for example, I'll start here. On a bright and tranquil Sunday, sunlight poured gently through the windows of Luna's home, the warmth wrapping its pattern onto the wooden floor. Everything should have been serene but nostalgic, but not today. Kate Luna is this is the introduction of Luna, a new character. So, as per that rule, a new paragraph. Luna, a spirited girl with a wild imagination and penchant for trouble, eased into wakefulness, rubbed her eyes, and blinked with confusion. The faded wallpaper. Okay, wallpaper is actually one word. The bookshelves full of old dusty books. The handmade quilt her mother had sewn were all gone. Okay, so this is now she laid in soft silver bed is now a place. It's a new revelation in the story, so it's another paragraph break too. Now she lay in a soft silver bed above the floor with smooth glow walls and peculiar devices quietly blinking in the corner. Outside, the glass window towered skyscrapers to the extreme sky, and cars whizzed through the air like hurried birds. Luna shot upright. There should be a comma here. Her heart hammering wildly inside of herself. Flooding with both excitement and fear. As usual, her thoughts flitted in all directions. She could explore, she could hide, she could call for someone or wake up again. Okay, thoughts tumbled into another deep in mind, and she had trouble finding focus and right words to convey what she felt. But one thing was for sure, she wasn't in her old bedroom anymore. And no matter how this all happens, it was just the start of an unexpected and exhilarating adventure. Okay, now we'll go through what is needed for the changes. First is it's the warmth wrapping its patterns is not that it's not a uh usable expression in English. So usually for this, I would go with casting patterns on the wooden floor. And also onto is not grammatically correct. So to suggest, I would delete this. Everything should have been serene and nostalgic. Okay, been is also not correct. Usually I would do dot. But because serenity and nostalgia is two feelings. It's two states that people feel. So it should not be something cannot be nostalgic. Something can make you feel nostalgic, but not be nostalgic. Luna, a spirited girl with a wild imagination and a penchant for trouble. Okay, eased into wakefulness is not an expression that I would have used. So it's quite uncommon, but sometimes maybe you could add touches of this into your paragraph as a whole, but I would not recommend it as it breaks up the flow that the reader is trying to read. So usually maybe you could say slowly stirred from her sleep. And rubbed her eyes and blinked with confusion. Usually blinking is enough to uh usually blinking is enough for you to like try and is enough for you to express that someone is being like sorry, some someone is they are they are confused. So this is usually not that necessary. Okay. The faded wallpaper, the bookshelves full of old rusty books. The handmade quilt grandmother had sewn were all gone. Okay, this is good. Now she lay in the soft silver bed, while the floor uh, with smooth glow walls. Can you, Lena, can you elaborate on glow walls? Because is it like a glow in the dark wall or something?
I mean, like the walls are kind of like shining.
Okay, so it's kind of like the walls are glowing with color, right?
Yeah, but I want it to be described as like colorless and they don't have any other color rather than white and a little bit of light gray.
So you mean like it's basically the walls lighting up.
Yeah, and maybe the sun outside, which the sun outside is shining it and making it kind of like glow.
So basically you're describing glass walls, the like the like how do I um it's like a frosted glass. Like you can't see it, right? Here. This kind of thing.
Well, I do mean it.
Okay. Uh Let me see. Smooth black, smooth glow walls. Smooth walls that are glowing, maybe? Let's see. It could be that surrounded by, you could just say that you surrounded by walls that are glowing, like glowing walls. In that case, usually you can just say it would just mean this. And peculiar devices. Blinking. Oh, there should be blinking quietly. The orders are actually not correct in this case, but it's a minuscule mistake. Usually it doesn't change much. Outside, glass window. There should be because wait, no. Outside this should be because you haven't addressed the window before, so it should be a large glass window towered. Okay. This should mean outside a large glass window. This could I think this could mean like skies. Skies Wafers. Cars. There should also be a comma around here. And cars whiz through the air like hurry birds. This could be whizzed, but usually when you talk about cars going fast, usually you would use zipped. Luna shot straight up, her heart hammering wildly inside herself. This is fine. Flooding with both excitement and fear. As usual, her thoughts flitted in all directions. This could be every. Explore, she could hide, she could call for someone to pick up again. Thoughts bumbled into one another deep in her mind. I think it's tumble, but I'm not sure. Uh, can you tell me more about what is going on with your expression for the thoughts bumbling? Because I just looked it up and it's not an expression that is valid in English.
I I kind of mean that there are a lot of going thoughts and kind of like opinions going on in her mind, and she can't focus on like an action that she wants to do, that like she can't make up her mind to choose whether if she wants to shout for help, or she wants to look for an exit.
Okay. So basically you're saying that uh she's like thinking like one thought to another and everything's just jumbled in her mind, right? Usually I would go with tumbled, but yeah, basically tumbled to one another deep into her mind, and she had trouble finding focus. Or okay, find sorry. This could be usually I would say that they should be making it hard to focus. Or find the right words to convey what she felt. But one thing was for sure, she wasn't in her old bedroom anymore. I think this should be one sentence of its own. No matter how all this had happened, it was just the start of an unexpected and exhilarating adventure. Okay, so you use quite a bit of I think you came up with most of the expressions here. Do mind that you should, when you think of an expression, sometimes it would really be helpful if you try to Google it to see if it actually exists. Because sometimes when you think of something that you think exists, it actually doesn't. So yeah, do mind on that. Grammar is actually very important when you write stories like this, so do be mindful of your collocations, which is basically what words goes with what words, and the words that you use in their definitions and how you use them. I've seen a lot of people use very fancy words like dichotomy, which in some ways could mean two things, like a pair of things, but it also means a a dilemma. So yeah, you need to try and make sure that you're not just using like advanced vocabulary and fancy vocabulary the wrong way. Uh, okay, I'll share this. Lena, can you give me like can you give me your like your email so that I can add you for like editing access, because it's just unfortunate if someone accidentally like deletes it or something, and I don't want that happening. Also, Luna, can you add your email as well? I want to add it to the editing list.
I did it.
Okay, thanks. Uh, okay. Uh, all right. Which new one? Okay, this is a long one. Nice. Okay. Mm, The story takes place in Monsto. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Sorry about that. Uh, a peaceful village in Nova Scotia, province of Canada. Usually you wouldn't have to elaborate on this, but you can just say like but you can just say Canada. In the late 19th century. Okay, 1 second. Okay. In a cozy house, there was Cindy, an orphaned cat who lived with Mary Lewis and her family. Mary named her Cindy, but she wanted to be called Catherine. She was curious and dreamy. The outside world is very attractive to her, but Cindy's family was her biggest dream. Some events that aren't very important. Is this like a title or is it like a statement? Alex, is this like a title or is it like a statement from Cindy?
Um, that is like, as I know, a novel usually has some events that we don't really need to care much about in the beginnings, but
So it's just like a label and you forgot to take it away.
oh yeah, well, like that.
Okay, so usually
But I intended to place it there to like fill the blank because
okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you can just usually this wouldn't make the final cut, but if you like to add it for like narrative purposes or like NQ like for example you could say that NQ some events that aren't very important, like a very bored narrator voice, because this is narrating for the third person. So yeah, it could this is you could keep this if you want. It's a matter of perspective though. Once Mary took Sydney outside. The world is so pretty and large that Cindy loved it immediately. Okay, so there is a bit of grammar problem here because I would recommend that you're writing in the 19th century. So the world is so pretty is not grammatically
Well,
correct.
I just fixed it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't notice.
Okay, all right. I'm just fixing through the part that I like copied. So you can just like so like there's uh, these are just suggestion edits, so you can like reject or you can accept them depending on which one you want and which one you wish to keep it as is. Large, but Cindy loved it immediately, so she ran away. Cindy fell into a river near the village. Since okay, this should be so scared of water that her front leg shook, but she didn't know how to save herself. There should be shook with fear because you should I see that you have like tried to try to like add showing not telling with Cindy here because she's shaking from fear. So you could just add with fear. It's not much, but it's the little things that count. But she didn't know how to save herself. Luckily, there was a log near her. Of course, maybe you should like try to describe it a little bit more. So like saying it's floating near her. It was her only choice, so she struggled to climb on it. It took her far, far away from the village. Meanwhile, Cindy was so sleepy that she took a nap on the log. Okay, I think that there is a reason for Cindy's sleepiness. Maybe it's because like she's exhausted. So you should try to like here I think you should try to express emotions, express states of beings, state of being that your character is. Example, she might be exhausted, things like that. So yeah, I think you should try to uh add more dialogue and add more things that are necessary in the add more feelings into your character. Okay. Chapter 2, Scared and Surprised. When she got up, okay, I'm pretty sure she woke up here because she can't get up in the log because she she can't like get up for the log or she'll drown again. So I would say that should be woke up. She found herself in a place with many trees and some mountains far away. Everything is so strange. Again, this should be was. She knew that she should go home, but how could she? There was no one near her. Cindy had to stay in the forest for many days. Okay, so there is a bit of a plot hole here. You should add in like something that concerns the log because if the readers are reading this, they would add, wait, where's the log? What happened to her falling asleep on the log? So you should add something like you should add a plot point. Like for example, she was able to clamber her way onto shore and walked and had to stay in the forest for many days. Things like that. So just a comment here. Here. Cindy. On the log. Okay, she walked and walked with the hope of getting out of this forest, but her hunger stopped her from continuing to walk. She needed something to survive. The fish were too fast, so she couldn't catch them. Therefore, her only choice was to eat wild berries. When you're writing fiction, uh, these these conjunctions, they're not that necessary because they add a level of like formalness that isn't really necessary with the story. Usually, if you drop these, it would make for like a more casual story. If you're not going for that, then it's fine, but I see that you are trying to go for a more like lightweight story. So I highly recommend dropping this therefore. Okay, it seemed to be forever. She couldn't hope for anything better to survive. Until one day, some elephants came. It was her only chance to escape. She asked for help. This is not that necessary. The sound of the elephants walking is too noisy. You can't really, you can't really like count the sounds, so what word is not like correct, although it might sound correct, but it's not actually correct. So the elephants couldn't hear Cindy. She was also too small to make them notice her. But she must escape anyway. Okay, usually this can be had to. Therefore, again, you could say, this is not usual. To add some more like dramatic effect, you could say that. So you could say that the resourceful creature that she was. Could say that being the resourceful creature that she was, she climbed on an elephant and let the elephant take her out of the forest. Also, you can just these you can try to incorporate. I want you to break out of your box here and try to incorporate it without using these quotes here, because you can just say that she made use of her climbing skills and jumped her and climbed her way onto an elephant's back. Something like that. I'll just keep it as a suggestion for you. Cindy. He said to the other. He said there should be to the others. Hey, there's something on my back. The elephants tried to kick Cindy. They should be off because they want to kick Cindy off the back, right? But it was hard. Cindy, as fast as lightning, dodged the elephant. They should be were too big to kick her. But when Cindy thought she was safe, she fell from the elephant's back. Okay, all elephants, this should be the elephants ask why she climbed onto, you could say his here. Did you want to steal something? Or did you try to annoy Albert? Bad cat. Okay, so here a better way is you could just yeah. You could delete it and you could just add quotation marks, as well as capitalize this place. Cindy felt very sad. Okay, she said, sorry, but I didn't try to do anything bad. I'm lost. I just want to come home. Usually you would use go home here. Sorry for misunderstanding you. If you like, we can try our best to there should be Scotia. Take you home. Where do you live? Okay.
Oh
So
wait, that is an intended mistake because simply because the cat didn't talk with humans a lot, so she couldn't remember the exact name.
okay, yeah. That's a good that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, I think that's a good yeah, okay. If we how do I okay. Uh gotcha. Okay, so usually you would commence by you would again go writing this. Okay, so now with direction, you could say that, oh, the elephant said, they could say that Nova Scotia. I've never heard of a place called Nova Scotia, something like that. And then you could make them detour to some place that is 1,000 kilometers from where she was. Like you could make them go like in the wrong directions, things like that. So try to make more obstacles for Cindy. Okay? Overall, this is pretty good. You're doing great here. Uh, okay. Alex, can you send me your Gmail for so that I can make you the editor?
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. You should be able to find the dots in the you should be able to find the docs in the chat. Let's go with Chinese. Okay. Okay. Which chapter 1? Okay. In a powerful and vibrant country within central Vietnam, where technology boomed and city lights lit the skies like stars, lived a girl unlike any other. Sparkle, sparkles Nia. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to call her Sparkles Nia. If you want to know who she is, well, her story isn't simple. She's brilliant yet lazy, romantic but over. Okay, a practical example of what you call Vietnamese English. Uh, Here, overthinking is like something that you do. Uh, the word itself is overthink. So you could say that. So the one of the more correct ways is to say that like but prone to over prone to doing something. Childish on the outside, but carrying a universe of emotions inside. Okay, this is good way to write things. But after all, she once dreamed of a perfect life, romantic, peaceful, meaningful. But everything changed when she was just 11. I would recommend changing just to only because it's for rhythm. Like it would you have a just so that it balances out with the syllables and it kind of makes it a bit more like it's a bit more the flow is better and the rhythm just makes it more even. That year, tragedy struck. Her parents, beloved and admired, passed away in a terrible accident. Uh, Here you can just say died.
No, please don't replace that word. I like the word pass away.
Yeah, you can just like accept it.
Die, make my story.
Yeah, it's strong, but like you need to get to the point. Like, okay, wait, my book isn't here right now because I am at my house right now. But there is a book series that talks about a very tragic event. It's literally called A Series of Unfortunate Events. And basically, I'm not going to spoil the entire series you do, but it basically means that uh the her their parents died in the parents of the three main characters died in a store, and you shouldn't like be scared And they do like a bunch of like they have a bunch of like things that happened to them, like their uncles died, their aunt died, and then like they got lost in at the middle of the sea in the storm, and then things like that. What I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't be so shy of doing shouldn't be so shy of using words that get to the point. Like passed away is very formal for something that you're writing fiction. You shouldn't be like that formal. But it's your choice. Maybe it's a style. So yeah, I won't pass judgment on that. But just saying that would be one of the choices that could be made. Though her heart shattered, her family remained wealthy beyond measure. Her older brother, cold, calculating, and often cruel, took charge. He built a massive company that stretched its influence across the city and Sparkle's Nia. She was left behind in a whirlwind of grief and change. Okay? She first moved in with her parents, who tried their best to raise her with love and discipline, but soon she was sent to the city. An overwhelming, metallic journey, sorry, a jungle with her awful siblings. With her awful sibling. Here you just say brother because she only has one sibling. In a luxurious, lonely apartment. You can say, okay. There, among riches and sorrows, Sparklenesia began to change. At, she fir- but she wasn't only fighting gravity. Sparklenesia faced heartbreaks, heavy expectation, and the pressure of saving the favorite thing in the world, the science and technology club. It was a place of wonder, curiosity, and belonging, a place that reminded her of who she used to be. Okay. And behind all that, there should be an of here. Two storms quietly approached her heart. Netch and Jampia, two boys who would both become unforgettable parts of her story. Sparkonesia didn't know it yet, but her story had just begun. From the day she stepped into that new city, everything would change. Friendships, failures, love, and destiny would collide. The girl who once this is a word choice, but I think you should just say simply here. It adds like grace and adds more maturity to just wished for a better life was now chasing the dream that reached far beyond the sky. Uh, okay. So far this is good. Minimal and city life was not kind to Sparklenesia, but she didn't give up. Even though the glittering apartment and expensive gadgets surrounded her, she felt more alone than ever. Still, she poured her energy truly mattered. Her studies, her dreams, and her beloved science club. She spent long nights surrounded by books and computers, pushing herself to understand more about space, technology, and how she could one day go to the moon. She made a promise to herself. I will find out what happened to my sister. I will make them proud. You can bold this to make it more make it more dramatic. Things got better. Okay? Sparkle Media.
Wait, Moni is the girl.
Yeah.
And romantic is in tab 3, not this.
No, it's in you published it here. I don't know.
I want to send a note. Let me see.
Right, how do we go about this? Uh, wait, I thought this was the one on the tablet here. I just copied it. Is there something wrong?
No, because my fault.
Oops. Okay, so do you want me to continue with fixing this one, or maybe you can just send it to me after class? Like which one?
Well, I forgot to put up the name, but you can see the tab 3 there. And the book card. I think that I just update.
You updated? Oh,
Maybe.
so this should be oh, so there should be 3 chapters. Okay?
Well, I have write about 12 chapter about this.
What?
12 chapters.
Okay.
And I think that you weren't able to read all.
Okay, so I'll go too briefly, but unfortunately I'm going to I'll set this here and you can just publish all of them and I'll do them on my own time. You can check it on Tuesday. I promise I'll be done by Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So you're gonna publish that. I'll make sure you can just publish if you can't publish by today. You've already written like 12 chapters, right? So you can just publish here all 12 chapters that you have, and I will I'll fix it I'll fix it and I'll have it done by Tuesday next. So next is Sophia. Okay, Sophia, I don't know which one to choose because you have quite a lot going on here.
Just choose the second one.
The second one?
Just one. Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Yes, of course.
Okay, this one, right?
Yeah.
I'll put this here. But actually running out of time here. So, Sophia, do you want Sophia, unfortunately, I do have to do yours offline because I want to do every one of yours online right here live. Then it's kind of like time consuming and we don't have enough lessons here for us to do it. So I'm sorry about
It's okay, yeah.
that. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. I promise I'll have like I'm just not I'm one thing though. When I fix this one, should I also review like this or any of the clock tower girl thing? Sophia?
Only chapter 1.
Okay, only chapter one? All right. Okay. So Sophia, Toby, and Jenny, I'm so sorry, but we have like a time constraint here, so I'm not able to fix your guys' writing in this. I'm not able to like get your guys' fixing here, so I'll do it offline, and then like I'll write, and then I'll walk over it faster in the next lesson. Okay? I'm so sorry about that. Uh, okay, so now that the class has gotten to an end, goodbye, guys.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.